like to thank the organizers of the debate um, and the audience for giving us the opportunity of expressing our thoughts on the matter of globalization. My name is Gita, this is Aisulu, Masa, DJ, and Tetsushi. To start with, we would like to... Tetsushi?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry.
I'm looking for a power cord.
Oh, okay. It's not Tetsushi. To start with, we would like to say that we are not against all kinds of globalization. We are not against all kinds of trade. And we are definitely not against development. However, we are against the capitalist globalization. We are against the corporate-dominated globalization. And finally, we are against the unfair globalization that we have been witnessing in the last few decades. Instead of being called the anti-globalization group, we would rather be called the fair trade group or even the globalized justice group. We are a group of people that share the same goal, which is we believe that unregulated globalization has dramatic consequences for the planet and for the people. We object the non-transparent and the undemocratic mechanisms of capitalism and the negative consequences of the globalization. We oppose the globalization abuse, which does not regard the ethical standards and the human rights of the people throughout the world. Some will say today that our movement lacks coherent goals and that our proposals are inconsistent and unrealistic. It is true that within our movement, while some people are more concerned with the state of the environment and other people are more preoccupied with labor exploitation, the truth is that we all believe in respect for people and cultures, and we are all against the greed of corporations. So our movement states here today that people and the planet should undeniably come before profits. I'm going to pass to Aisulu, who will present the impact of globalization on financial markets.
Globalization has increased the probability of the financial crisis. Because of the integrated global capital market, both the developed and developing countries are exposed to financial risks. And the best examples could be Japanese bubble in 1990s and Asian crisis in 1997. And also the banking crisis in Mexico and currency crisis in Thailand illustrated the global risk. And financial crisis that started in the United States in 2007 has spread to the European and Asian countries and now threatens even the developing countries. Expectations for global growth have declined because of the financial crisis, and European banks entered the financial crisis due to their exposure to the United States subprime mortgages. And as banks have had to write off bad loans, the fear and uncertainties have spread throughout the financial sector. Regardless which bank has bad loans and has not enough capital to repay its debt obligations. As banks find it difficult to attract capital, the pain is felt also across the non-financial sector. Companies that usually issue corporate papers now either could not issue those papers or paying too high interest rates. And as corporations find it difficult to attract debt, the bad circumstances are going to happen in the real economy. According to International Financial Fund, the growth of GDP, which was equal to 5% in 2007, is going to slow to 3% in 2009. And slow or negative economic growth will combine it with high energy prices and food prices will damage the real wages of the simple workers, and the middle class is also going to be affected, says the director of International Labour Organizations. And simple citizens who borrow too much money will be losing their jobs, homes, and even hopes about a better future. And then Masa will present gap between poor and rich countries.
So I'm going to explain about the critical points of economic globalization as a part, especially of anti-free trade. the globalization that we have been facing is moving to more focused on a market and its value, and share the idea through all over the world. And in short, in this situation, people tend to think business competing is great, and it contributes to the improvement of economic and the human beings in the long run. But I doubt it. So let me explain about the situation using McDonald's and the other hamburger shops. So McDonald's and the small fast food restaurant in any other countries, now any corporations want to go into take a business. So everyone knows McDonald's, and with it being well known, they can serve one hamburgers, which is less than $1, super cheap price. So then a small restaurant in the poor country, like a developing country, cannot spend money on more than $1 or something, but it's impossible. So in this situation, who can win the McDonald's restaurant? So then a small restaurant or a small hamburger shop will go bankruptcy. The consumer can be happy, but who can buy hamburger in the long run? Workers at small restaurant have to work as a part-time job or sometimes no job. So in long run, they cannot pay even such cheap burgers. And the same stuff will happen in a global situation. So and one more stuff is I'm gonna explain about one data, which is UNDP. As a report of UNDP, just imagine 85% population in the world have 50% salaries of entire profits, just 15%. And the one more data it's interesting. Just 358 people who earn the richest salary is equal to 2.3 billion salary. It means it's now widening the rich and the poor is still going on. And then now DJ will I'm gonna pass this DJ, and then he's gonna explain.
I will focus on the impact of globalization on human rights. Globalization has resulted in gross human rights violations for millions of workers, particularly women workers, peasants, and farmers, and indigenous communities. According to new United Nations report, which was written by Harvard Kennedy School's John Ruggie, a growing instance of business-related human rights violations has been fueled by globalization. Then, what are the side effects of the globalization in terms of the human rights violation? First, companies, especially transnational corporations, have been restructuring their operations on whole large global scale. The result has been massive unemployment. For example, the International Labour Organization studied 73 countries of the world and found that most countries except the United States, EU countries, and South Asia countries have seen the increase in unemployment rate from 1990 to 2002. Secondly, globalization has also caused and strengthened the process of the casualization of labor and informalization of labor. Manufacturers are increasingly resorting to the workers on part-time or short-time contracts. They have also moved their plants to non-unionized workforces in the developing countries. The result? In developing countries, not only wages are very low, but also legal protection of workers is minimal.